Did you know that there are 4 reasons why you're losing your fantasy football draft outside of very terrible research? Well, let me explain what they are because they're hidden secrets that people don't realize. The first reason you're losing is because you're holding a grudge. Yes, a grudge. And let me explain the story because once I picked Shady 101 way back when, and he had a terrible season after annihilating fantasy football the year before. And you know what I did after that? I never drafted him again. And I missed out on opportunity after opportunity. And I did that with multiple players. You're holding grudges, like against little guys too, like theoretic. A grudge does you no good. Holding a grudge is letting a player live rent free. And opportunities change from year to year. Coaches change, quarterbacks change, offensive coordinators change, the league changes, the schedule changes. So if a player has let you down in the past, do not allow that to predict your future. Understand that history, yes, can repeat itself, but know that a player is not a victim of the same circumstance over and over and over again because everything is in constant perpetual motion. The second habit that you are creating that is screwing you out of the fantasy football championship is your failure to prepare, because if you fail to prepare, you should prepare to fail. There is a ton of things you have to look at, and you can't just look at one little bit of research and take it. You can't look at yards per route run and being like, this is the only indicator that matters, or strength of schedule and say, this is the only indicator that matters, because you have things like training camp battles. You have coach speak. That does matter. It does matter. You have to listen to what the coaches say in the post games and in post training camp days and all that fun stuff. You can't even go to one analyst who, like, yes, come to me. I will help you as much as I can. But other analysts add in other layers. Basically, what you need to do is take your research and open your mind. If you roll into your fantasy football drafts with a top 200 sheet that you get from ESPN every year because, well, that's what you've always done, history is going to repeat itself. And I can promise you that unless you're in a 16 league and you're taking that top 200, you have never won, or you haven't won in years. So prepare, because if you don't, you're going to fail. The third issue, and this is very unpopular, and I'm sorry, stop drinking at your fantasy football drafts. You know how many drafts I have gone to where the guy drinks and drinks and drinks, and then he's reaching 3 levels ahead because he just watched the tight end train happen on the board, and now all of a sudden he has Noah Fant like 6 rounds ahead of time because he doesn't really need him, but he got nervous because he saw those colors going off on the draft board? That's inebriation screwing you up. Sure, enjoy yourself. It's a festivity. Have fun with your friends. Maybe 1, maybe 2. Sound mind. Sound mind. It's, you got to make sure you're snapping on all ends there. Let your friends drink. Hell, if you want to, give them a shot or 2. Get them a little more drunk than you because, well, that'll help you in the end for your fantasy football drafts. Please, everybody, just drink responsibly in the end. But do not overdrink in your draft, because when you overdrink, you screw up in multiple avenues, whether it's eating, whether it's drinking more, whether it's doing anything stupid. You really think that you're going to overdrink here and become the best fantasy football drafter that has ever existed? Be smarter than that. Come on. Your fourth habit, one of the biggest issues that everybody makes, especially me, sunken cost fallacy. Let's take the biggest thing that's happened recently with Jordan Addison. Possible DUIs, all that fun stuff. Let's say you've been drafting him in best ball all season long, or you've had other drafts already before this, and you've had Jordan Addison on your team. And then it comes back around, and you're like, oh, man, I have Jordan Addison. I believe them in other drafts. If I don't pick them here, that means I don't care about those drafts, and I don't think they're going to win. No. New information changes what you know, which should change how you draft. Do not fall for the sunken cost fallacy that because you've already pumped money into them, you need to continue to pump money into them. Be smart, because things should ebb and flow just like you. You should be fluid within your drafts. Please remember, these 4 tips are not research tips, but these are tips that people are always forgetting and always fall, and they're failing to prepare because they're not understanding these 4 tips. Don't fail to prepare. Make sure you win your fantasy football league this year. Take these tips, add it on to your research, and dominate your leagues.